So leadership leap. So you need to lead well, to know, where you're going, and people will follow you if you are leading well. Everybody wants to follow people who know where they're going. You're not going to follow you if you don't know where you're going. So you need to take that on board. You need to be the leader. All right. You need to know where you're going. So make sure everyone in your studio is aligned with the studio culture. Now, we talked about this before. It becomes really important now as a leader as well, to make sure everyone's aligned with your purpose for your studio, with your vision, clear vision of where the studio is going. Make sure your vision is, seeable, far enough to see, but not too far that it just becomes something you don't think about. So, I like 5 years, but some people go 3. So it's up to you how far that vision goes, but you need to have your vision, you need to have your mission, and you need to have your values. Just to break those down a little bit further. So your purpose is your why. So why do you exist? What is the problem you're solving? Specific, can be quite specific with that, not just general, by teaching people to dance. Okay, what else do you want to do? What else are you solving within your area, within your community? So really break that down. Your vision is your where. We talked about that, so you want to make sure you have a plan. Your mission is what you can do on a daily basis. What is the mission? This is what we're going to do as a team to get there, the what. And then your studio values are how you're going to act each day to achieve that mission. So they're your 5 to 7 studio values. Remembering the 80-20 rule. This is not just business rule. This is a principle that states that roughly 80% of outcome come from 20% of causes. So the top 20% of tasks produce 80% of the income. So if you are focusing your top 20% of your time on revenue generating things or studio strengthening and improvement things, and that is going to produce a lot more. It's going to produce 80% of what happens in the studio. So remembering you need to really focus and knuckle down on being the CEO, principal, whatever you want to call yourself there, manager. Okay, so with your CEO time, so your old thinking would be stuff like, and this might not be you, but it'll be a lot of us. I need to be at the studio to talk to parents, to oversee classes, to do some paperwork, blah, blah, blah. If I'm not there, I'm feeling guilty. And that's, why should I send staff there and pay for someone to be there when really I could do it myself? That's the kind of thinking we need to get rid of. Okay, let that team member go in there, because your new thinking needs to be, I need to be away from the business of the studio so I can come up with revenue generating ideas. So I can think of things that are going to improve and pump the culture. I can create a list of new systems that we're going to create and generate. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you need to change your thinking into a CEO and give yourself some time, because if you don't change anything, nothing changes. Yeah, you have to make those changes. So think about them, work out how you're going to implement them. It takes time. So you don't need to be teaching that extra class, talking to that Suki parent over there. They'll still be Suki tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I'm sure they'll send them a nice survey and they'll send you back some Sukiness. You don't have to be there all the time. All right. Use some of your time more wisely. So I'd like you to do the do, delegate, ditch. All righty. So do a brain dump. You need to do these regularly. They're so good. I don't know if any of you have or haven't done brain dumps, but it's so good. Just to put everything down on a piece of paper. And yes, paper and pen is better. I don't know why the typing, but paper and pen is so much better. Just put it down, write it out, get it out of your head, and have nothing. Like, it's all on paper. You're not going to forget anything. You can't forget it because it's all on that piece of paper. All right. And then you need to make the decision. Do I do it myself? Because it has to be done by me. So it might be creating a new class list. Do I delegate? Now, a lot of things are going to be under your pay grade. So there's a lot of things you're going to be able to delegate. So you don't need to be changing that toilet paper and getting it the right way. Is it the mullet or I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, so delegate. Do you delegate it or do you ditch it? And by ditch, I mean, sometimes it'll be, it doesn't really need to be done. Other times it'll be, look, I'm just going to ditch it for this 90-day period. Because as I said, I want you to do a 90-day plan, but ditch it for this 90-day period and put it over here. But you can come back to it at a later day because it's really not important in your vision and at the moment. Because remember, you don't want to get sidetracked by the shiny disco ball syndrome. You don't want to be doing, like I used to, ridiculous things like, oh, let's add Zumba because it was new. And, it's not in my vision. So I just got sidetracked for 5 minutes doing that and spending a lot of money and time on it when really it didn't fit in the studio anyway. So don't get sidetracked. So some of those things just need to be ditched. If you don't want to ditch them totally, just put them aside for now. But work out what you're going to do, delegate and ditch. Then I think we might have moved my clicker over a little bit. I'll just get that moved over. Here it is. Got it back. There we go. So talking delegation. Look, I'm the delegation queen. I never had a problem once people said, yeah, here's the okay to delegate. I was like, yes, I love this. So you can't be a control freak. And I think a lot of studio owners have tended to be control freaks at times. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go together. So you do need people to help you. And I'm not saying you have to immediately take on staff members if you don't have any, but there are ways that you can delegate things to other people, small things to start with or bigger, depending on where you're at your studio point at the moment. So I think the things to get over are, yes, you are going to do things faster and better and more efficiently, and you're going to be able to do everything better, but you should, it's your business, but you can't do everything. So it's not necessarily actually beneficial for you to do it, even though you can do it better and faster, all right? The staff teams are not necessarily going to care as much as you do, and so they shouldn't. It's not their business. But if you treat them well, we talked about this earlier, about making them feel part of the team and giving them knowledge of what you expect, they're going to do an awfully good job. And most of them, if you've picked the team right, are going to want to make the business grow as well, because they want their job to grow, and they enjoy having lots of kids in their classes too. So making sure that you're keeping them on board, because done is better than not done. Yeah, done is better than perfect. It could be perfect if you do it yourself, but at least it's done, because you won't have time to do everything yourself. Okay, so delegation is super duper important. These are your leadership lead action plans. So one is knowing your purpose, making sure that you have that vision for 2 to 5 years written, whatever suits you, and making sure that is what everything is leading towards. All right, so your mission statement, make sure it's a statement that everybody sees. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. All right. The values, I didn't talk about writing your values, but when you're writing your values, how we did it was we asked all of our team to put down all of the words that they felt described the studio. We asked parents and students to do it as well, ones that we, were part of this year for a little while. And we got all of these words, like so many of them. And we just sat down with the words and we just messed around with them, put them into sort of categories as such. And there was a lot of those. And in the end, sort of narrowed it down to, a specific set of values, which we then, we had cards printed, we put them on the wall, we developed them a little bit. Like we use them in a lot of our marketing, internal marketing as well as external. They helped us write a lot of our scripts for advertising because we use those value words in there. So they were really important and helpful when you're writing text and stuff. So that was really important, creating those values in that way and letting people be part of it, because sometimes there's things you don't see. I then actually used all of the words that had come from all of the people, and I created like our logo, which was a dancer. I created the dancer with those words, did like a manifesto or a word art, and then we put it on t-shirts, and that was our school t-shirt for the year. And there was a boy one, the girl one. It was great. So those words came in handy for a lot of things. We use them for a lot of promos, and we got a lot of value out of doing that. Take your time out, your 20-80 rule. Remember, 20% of what you do is going to create 80% of the outcome. So make sure that 20% is going to be improving in value for the studio. New ideas, got to think about them, got to keep not thinking about working in the business, but on the business, and do your brain dumps and work out what you are going to do, delegate and delete.